What's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and this might very well be the most important Phantom Knight combo video I've ever uploaded yet. And the reason for that is because I will be showing you guys 4 combos around annoying cards like Forbidden Drop, so you can still scythe your opponent under Forbidden Droplet. It changes absolutely nothing, and you don't even need that many cards. I mean, I'm even going to show you hands that it just looks like I bricked, but I mean, it's Phantom Knight, it never bricks. This deck is super consistent, and it's definitely in the top 5 best decks. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe, and also check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And now let's jump right into combo number 1. So all I have is Tour Guide. Just Tour Guide. Not even Tour Guide in a discard. No. Tour Guide alone against Forbidden Droplet is still Scythe combo, and you don't even have to use like any weird gimmicky cards. I'm not gonna show you like I don't know, Doomdog Orthros or something like that. So you obviously special summon the Graph, and then you make your Cherubini. You're going to be special summoning the Seer. We always love these beautiful combos, huh? So your Cherubini is going to be sending the Ancient Cloak, and you're going to be making the Rusty. Graph revive back the Cherubini, of course. And then you'll be using the Rusty effect in order to set the, send the Torn Scales and also set the Shade Brigandine. I guess one small issue of this combo is that you don't end on a Fog Blade on the field. But I mean, come on, who cares? Who cares, right? Alright, so you'll be using the effect of Ancient Cloak in order to search very specifically this card, the Ragged Gloves. And then you'll be reviving back the Torn Scales, and you'll be using its effect in order to Foolish for the Wings, and you will be banishing the Wings in order to revive back this Ragged Gloves. And now you'll be using the Shade Brigandine in order to summon it and then make Artifact Dagda, because the next play that we're about to do will lock us under the Dark Attribute special summon only. So make sure you summon your non-darks ASAP. And Dagda is a light monster, so if you do that after the Break Sword, it's not gonna work. So Break Sword and then pop itself. Now this step is extremely important. Having the Break Sword in the graveyard ASAP allows you to revive it back on the draw phase in order to pop your own Scythe. And if your opponent goes Forbidden Droplet, well, your Phoenix Enforcer comes back on standby, and then you get to pop your Dagda and Scythe, so Dagda will trigger to revive back the Scythe. And regardless of what your opponent has, one single piece of negation is just not enough. So you will be triggering your Dagda, get to the Scythe, blah, 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 and then pop, revive back the 2 monsters, and you're going to be making Anaconda. The really cool thing is that usually they would get banished if the Torn Scales was summoned with its own effect, and the Ragged Gloves was summoned off of the Wings, but when you use them as Xyz materials and bringing them back, they kind of forget that old drawback, so now they're actually going to be going to the graveyard. And you'll be paying 2k, feels great, kind of, in order to summon Phoenix Enforcer. And of course, we still have the graveyard effect of Ragged Gloves, so that's exactly what we will be doing in order to send the Fog Blade. Now, one final thing that we have to do on our turn, preferably on end phase to play around Nibiru, because if we use the effect of Phoenix Enforcer to pop our whole board on main phase, your opponent can just chain Nibiru to your Phoenix Enforcer. And that's like the worst case scenario, because you lose your entire board, you still have to resolve Phoenix Enforcer to pop your own Scythe on your own turn, and then you're left with nothing at all. You're left with no Enforcer, no Scythe, and you just lose the game. So if you do it on end phase, you dodge Nibiru, because Nibiru is a main phase only card. So end phase, you go Phoenix Enforcer, pop the Anaconda, and then use the effect. And popping your Anaconda was very important because we needed this zone specifically, the one that I'm pointing to, the one below end phase, in order to summon the Break Sword to that zone. So again, draw phase, specifically you banish the Blade, you bring back the Break Sword, and then Rusty pop the Artifact Scythe. Your opponent goes Nugget, he doesn't want you to pop the Scythe. But again, even if your opponent was letting your Scythe resolve and it comes back to the field, remember that the Phoenix Enforcer again is going to come back. So let's say the Scythe is on the field but negated, you pop your Dagda and Scythe, it gets back you revive back the Scythe, and you win the game regardless of what happens. So it's absolute GG. Your opponent is under Scythe through freaking Droplet. Nice deck. That's it for combo number 1. This was already really cool, but it gets better, I guess. Let's jump into combo number 2. I feel like a lot of these hands, people don't even know how to play them out correctly, but even if you just have Silent Boots and any level 3 extender in Yu-Gi-Oh! That you can special summon, it's still full combo. It changes nothing. So look at this. Normal summon the Silent Boots, and then summon the Psychic Wielder. Again, we don't even need another discard, but if we did have another discard, it could be cool. Anyways, you go for Graph, and then special summon Seer, blah, 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 and you're going to be making a Rusty Krusty Krab. Seer revive back Cherubini. I mean, at this point, you already know it. Send the Torn Scales. Oh my god, I've seen this somewhere. And then effect in order to search the trap card. So you see, this is very similar to the first combo. Actually, you're doing almost the exact same thing, but this time you're going to be pitching the trap in order to send the monster. Last time we did the exact opposite. We had the monster in our hand because we had Ancient Cloak access, but it literally changes nothing. It's the exact same as the end of the day, so who cares? And then, yeah, revive back your monster and then flip your Shade Brigandine, make your artifact Dagda, and then make the Break Sword pop yourself. And I think you can already see where this goes, but it's the exact same setup that we had before. So, again, there is nothing your opponent can do because we have the Break Sword in order to pop and the backup plan that is Phoenix Enforcer. So, even if we wanted to preserve the Phoenix Enforcer and with the Scythe successfully resolved, that's going to be an extra pop on our opponent's turn. Why not? I mean, I think this is always better than like a Fog Blade, and you don't have a Scythe guaranteed. Scythe is always the priority unless you know that your opponent is playing something like Flunderies, in which case you would either not go for Scythe or side it out completely and go for, I don't know, Masquerena play, Rapaloosa, etc. So, yeah, again, that's it for combo numero dos. Let's get into combo number 3. All right, this combo is really, really rough. This one is one of the trickiest ones because it's assuming that you have 2 level 3 monsters that can special summon themselves, but no Phantom Knight. Not ideal in theory. This is one of the worst hands in a way to draw in Phantom Knight. It's obviously much worse than Tour Guide, but on the bright side, you don't lose to, like, Valor Pass, basically. Anyways, a special summon, and then make Cherubini. Again, could be literally any 2 level 3 monsters, as long as you don't have to use your normal summon. So one cool thing is that Terratop is that 1-card full combo in a way. So you're going to be... It's different than the 2 first combos that I showed you. So now this time, you don't send the Graph into Seer, you send the Ancient Cloak. This is completely different, and you're going to be using its effect to search the Silent Boots out of everything, and normal summon Silent Boots, and then you make Rusty, the Krusty Krab, in order to send the Torn Scales, and then use the effect of Silent Boots in order to search that Fog Blade, revive back the Torn Scales, and then discard the Fog Blade in order to send the Ragged Gloves, revive back in order to make... what? Oh, not Break Sword for once, Levy Air. Yes, and then revive back the Ancient Cloak from the Banish. So, at least we are getting back cards from the Banish, so our grind game is going to be, I guess, a little better. And you're going to be making Rusty a little stronger. So, don't forget to summon back your Ancient Cloak and attack. I always used to forget this every single time, and people were like, Yasin, get good at Yugi Mons. And I was like, okay, fine, okay, I'll try to improve. Anyways, make the Shade Brigandine and then make the Dagda and then Ragged Gloves for the other trap card, the one that you didn't send before, in order to revive back your Torn Scales and then Break Sword, yada yada yada. Dagda, pop your Break Sword. I've seen this somewhere, I forgot where. Revive back 2 monsters, make Verte Anaconda. Now, the one little issue, you're going to be seeing this in pretty much 2 seconds. You're going to be summoning your Phoenix Enforcer, but we don't have any trap engrave. That, any trap that can revive back your Break Sword. So the small little issue here is that if your opponent does have Forbidden Droplet, there's nothing we can sadly do about it. So this is basically, I hope that you don't have it. And I wouldn't actually do the Phoenix Enforcer on draw phase or standby, because if your opponent has Imperm, that's another way you lose. But at the same time, it would be tempting to do it on standby in order to dodge Dark Ruler. So at this point, if this is the only play you can do, it's a huge concession, and you really have to make big sacrifices. So you can even argue you don't even want to make Dagda this time, and you want to make Scythe, but, I mean, it's really up to you, to be honest. I'm not the one trying to force you to commit to any play, but I'm just showing you the option. Anyways, let's get into the 4th and final combo. Alright, so this is another one of those hands where you see it and you're like, I just wish this was slightly better, because if this was slightly better, it would have been the full combo, obviously no problem, but now you actually have to use your brain, like, ew, oh my god, imagine doing that in 2022. And yeah, so you have Torn Scales with a Forbidden Droplet, but no Phantom Knight discard. A little tricky, right? Yeah. So, assuming that you have, like, literally no other good discard and your hand is literally Torn Scales with, like, 4 spell cards that don't invest your game state, look at what you can still do. It's still really good. So, we're going to be sending the Ancient Cloak and then searching the Silent Boots and then special summon, Make Cherubini finally send Graph. Oh my god, it's been like 10 years. Well, not really, but yeah. Summon back Seer and then make a Rusty, blah, blah, blah. Okay, again, it's very repetitive. Huh? Is one of these cards going to get bound? Maybe, we never know. This time, we're going to be sending the Ragged Gloves. We already have Silent Boots and Torn Scales in the grave, so a pretty stacked Obese Graveyard. I'm pretty down for that, NGL. So you're going to be sending the wings and then revive back the Torn Scales, revive back the Silent Boots with the wings, and then you're going to be flipping that Shade Brigandine, make your Dagda right now, and then Break Sword, pop, and then Chain in order to set that Scythe. Even if you forget and use it later on, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, revive back your 2 monsters, and you're going to be, of course, making Verte Anaconda. Now you're going to... This is where this combo is a little worse. You're going to be searching the Fog Blade, but you can't really get it in the graveyard. That's a huge bummer. So unfortunately, we end on the exact same as combo number 1 and 2, but with a Fog Blade in hand instead of Fog Blade in grave. So this time we do lose to Forbidden Drop, but in case we do get hit by Forbidden Drop, it's not going to be the end of the world because we still have Fog Blade. So you can almost argue that if your opponent doesn't have Forbidden Drop, this is actually a much better combo than both combo number 1 and 2. But if your opponent does have it, then it's G to the G. Now, this is the reason why Forbidden Drop would beat you here, assuming that you bring back the Break Sword on a draw phase, whatever, and you go pop with the Rusty. If your opponent uses Forbidden Drop here, he can negate both the Phoenix Enforcer and the Rusty, and unfortunately that would make it so you are not able to pop your own Artifact Scythe. So if you don't want to lose out to that, then just don't destroy your Fog Blade. Only destroy your Phoenix Enforcer and Anaconda, and you're going to have a Fog Blade. So if you use it on your opponent's monster and it gets linked off or something, the Fog Blade goes to grave, and then you can banish it, revive back the Break Sword, and actually pop a card your opponent controls that way. So every path leads to Rome. Who cares? This deck is still best deck. Vote Torn Scales for president, and also subscribe and like this video and subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos like these. The combo is still not over. Oh my god. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.